everyone, this is Ida of Created to Create. Welcome back to my channel. If you are not 18 years or older, this video content is not intended for you. Today I have a small tutorial. Hopefully we'll do it fast enough. I've got a bunch of supplies up here, and for this particular tutorial you'll need a pencil or a pen. I recommend a pencil, something light. You don't want anything real dark. You need something that is going to punch a hole and a small hole. So I have a really small hole punch right here, but my favorite tool is this one. I always talk about this tool, and that's made for leather, and it's also made for cutting holes, punching holes into thin metal. And this is a kind of expensive tool, but it's very well made, and I've had it for years and I use it all the time in all kinds of crafts. So it's a very sturdy tool. You'll need a pair of scissors. You will need a ruler and any paper that you want cut into. I believe these are 1/2 inch strips. They might be a little bit wider. Yeah, these are more like 5/8, no, maybe 3/4 inch strips. So you can do any size strips, but I don't recommend anything more narrow than a 1/2 inch. But these are 3/4 of an inch. And then you're going to need these bow pins, and I did see them on Amazon. Then I bought mine somewhere else, but they took a long time to come in. So if I can find them on Amazon, I will link them, because you would probably get those better. And you get 100 of these in a package, and this is what it looks like. Just a little plastic clear acrylic pin. Now, I did see this bow, and it reminded me, I saw it on Ebony's channel. She's sharing more here on YouTube, and she had created these bows and was just using up things that she had in her stash, the bows being one of them. And I remembered I used to work at a Western wear store, and during the holidays we actually had the machine, and you would hand crank it and it would be turning, and it would have pins, and it would create these bows. So I asked Ebony if there was if she had a tutorial, and she did not, but she said there was a lot on YouTube, and I did research it, guys, and there are several ways. People do it different ways. But I remembered the way the machine was. We would put in a spool of ribbon, the pins, and then we would crank it, and it would be turning the ribbon and sticking it in this pin. So that's the way I decided to go with it, and I will share it with you. This is just cardstock. You can make it any color you want. If you have a particular Christmas paper that you like, and you really want to make the bow the same color, you can actually glue a piece of that cardstock, a wrapping paper, onto a piece of cardstock, and then you can trim it into strips and create a bow that matches exactly. Right now I am using this glittered paper, and this has like an ombre effect where it's lighter and then it gets darker. So I cut three, I think I have like 4 or 5 strips here. And then what I did, how I get my measurements is, for my beginning loop, I do have marks here, and I'll explain to you what they are. For my beginning loop, where I want this spaced, I actually just go make a loop as big as I want, and I mark where that hole needs to be. Let me grab a pencil. Where I know that pin, I'm going to put that pin, so it's right there and right underneath there. And I give myself 2 marks, see? And then I punch a hole. You can punch them with this or with anything that's easy for you to see as far as placement goes. What I like about this tool, I can see exactly where I am punching. Let me show you. I'm not going to punch it, but I'm going to show you that I can see exactly where my tool is going to punch a hole. So that's what I like about this tool. Now, after I get my first mark for that center loop, I measure 3 inches with my ruler from the last hole that I punched, 3 inches apart. I punch a hole in. I make a mark. First, I go down my strip and I mark every 3 inches 5 times. And then I increase it by 1/2 inch. So my next 5 marks are every 3.5 inches. And then my last marks, which are 5 as well, are every 4 inches. So I increase it by 1/2 inch. after my 5 segments of marks. That's how I did it. And I pre-marked it so I knew I didn't have to be worrying and measuring, and you know, I marked the whole thing with a pencil, and this went in with my punch and punched them. So let's start this. So first of all, with the where you made your beginning mark, you're going to curl this under, because this is what's going to show in the center, which is that. So you want to put your pin underneath. Your pin is going to go under that. I believe I'm doing it the right way. And you don't want to use a hole punch that's too big and that this just slides through it. So I'm going to just turn it over and line it up with that mark and that hole that I already have there, and I'm going to punch it through. See, so I created a loop. Now, because this is single-sided paper and it's not double-sided paper, I have to be careful how I make my loops. If I was just using a solid cardstock, it wouldn't matter because it would look the same on both sides. But because this one doesn't, I have to make sure my strip is this way. So I'm going to get this and I'm going to flip it to the front. See, now you can see the front side. And then after I flip it to the front, this hole right here, the underside, not the pretty part, is going to be punctured through. I'm going to press this into that hole. On the back side is going to be towards that pin. And let's punch that one through. So you want to kind of keep your holes in the center, but they don't have to be exact. So there's our first loop, you guys, for that bow. Now for the next one, you're going to keep doing the same thing. You're just going to turn it to the front. And then this piece, you're just going to twist it so you can insert the pin through that hole that you already have there and push it through. And you're going to do that until you've finished the whole strip, because we pre-did our holes. We know exactly where we don't have to worry about how long do we need it to be because we have our marks. So I'm going to do this. See, I had to join my pieces, so I just glued them together. Turn it towards the back and insert it through. I hope you can see it through that hole. So make sure you use good cardstock. And then I'm going to keep doing it until I get done. And these are those kind of bows. It has like a lip right here, because these are made that you puncture them into the package and it stays put. So I have been having fun. Flip it to the front, grab the back portion of it, twist it, and align your pin with that hole and push it through. Look at how pretty that looks. And that's all you do, guys, till you get to the hole. And see, I'm pulling it to the front, twisting it to the back, and putting it through that hole that's in my paper. Look at how pretty that looks. And I kind of just turn it around, and I'm keeping my thumb on that pin. It's got a flat top because that helps me to puncture it through. And the reason I like this, you do not need the pins, guys. You can just glue it in place. The reason I like the pin is because because it's not glued, I can adjust these points where I need them to be, because it'll just rotate on that pin. I'm going to pull it to the front and then twist it to the back. Now, this one looks like it's not quite glued there, so be careful. Make sure your paper is really, really glued down. I will have to add a little bit more glue right here, because that little corner is coming up. And you'll sometimes get to those edges because we had to add strips to make it long enough. If you were using ribbon, then you wouldn't have this problem. And I would still mark my ribbon. That way all my loops would be consistent. So I'm going to turn it to the back, and I'm going to go back and fix that. And then I'm going to take the bottom, line up the hole, and punch it through. Let's see. Let me work with this a little bit. I'm going to go back and fix this after a while. For now, I'm just going to leave it. But it's not going to be that noticeable. By the time you get done, we're going to pull it to the front, twist it to the back, the bottom portion, line up that pin with the hole with that pin, and push it through. And I keep rotating this so it's easy for me to handle. Pull it to the front, twist it to the back, push it in through that hole. And we're almost done, you guys. And this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful bow. So remember, you can use hot glue too. I should have probably used hot glue because this is glitter paper. And that's all I'm doing, it pulling it to the front and twisting it and aligning that hole. That one didn't get in the middle, but aligning that hole. And look at how fast this bow's coming together. And then we're going to adjust it to the front, twist it to the back, and push it through that hole until we're done. And you can make these as big as you want. You're in control here, but remember that you want to leave a little room so you'll be able to puncture that, so you can puncture the tip through your package, your gift. Again, pull it to the front, twist it to the back, and align that hole and push it through. We're almost to the end here, you guys. And then we're going to adjust it because it's on that pin. We can actually move them around to the front, twist it to the back, and just punch it through. See, I have a piece here that I can cut off, which is what I'm going to do. That way you don't see it. And we're going to adjust it. I can go ahead and just move these tips because, like I said, it swivels because nothing's glued down. It just goes through that pin, so it can move. You kind of just want to move it to where it really looks like the loops are offset. This one looks a little funny. Sometimes you'll have problems like this one right here is where the joint of the two papers is, so you want to be careful with that. But it still looks pretty. It's not real noticeable. Let me see this. Move this one, move that one. And I can move them. I'll show you that I can actually move them because they're on that, stuck through that pin, and they're not glued in place. And you just want to adjust them wherever you think that they look the best. And there is the bow. Look at that, you guys. Anyway, that is all that I had to share with you today, that these bows are very, very easy to put together. You can create them with ribbon. And these actually are pretty consistent, the loops, because I measured my ribbon. So all of my loops are the same. So the 5 on top are the same, the next 5 on the second row are the same, and the last 5 on the bottom are the same because I marked the increments to be exact. So I went up a 1/2 inch every time. After 5 different holes, I went up to another 1/2 inch, did 5 more of that size. Then when I went up another 1/2 inch and did 5 more of that. So I've got 3 different sizes in between the holes. 1 at 3 inch, 1 at 3 1/2, and 1 at 4. So, and that gives you a really, really nice bow. Look at that. And it's gorgeous because you can do it in any color you want. Now, I know this is leaning back, but once you push it through the package, it'll actually push these to the front. It'll push them to the front, and they won't be leaning back. They will actually be to the front like that once you puncture it through a package. Also, this is a great way for your name tags on your gifts. I actually put the rope through here, and then I puncture it. That way the rope is caught up in between the gift package and the bow, and it doesn't go anywhere. And look at how gorgeous. gorgeous that is. I'm not going to stick it in anything because I'm going to use it on a gift, but I just wanted to share with you how pretty they are. Look at that. In between some of these layers too, what I was going to say was, I have some right here, that in between those marks where you made your marks will be the front, the top part of your loops. And if you had a punch or a die, or if you just wanted to cut strips, just little slits into that, you could do that as well and have a different look on your bows. Also, you could do little strips in between the layers and just kind of slice. There's like ribbon shredders, if you want to add ribbon, that shreds that poly. It's kind of like a plastic type of, it's a weatherproof ribbon, and you could just shred those ends, leaving a solid piece there. That way you could puncture that pin through it, and then you would have just little wisp of ribbon, and you could do it in between different layers. That would make a real pretty bow as well. But all I wanted to share with you guys was how easy these bows were to make. And that way, if you want to make your own bows, there's one thing that I can't stand. And these remind me of the old time bows. My mom would buy those large bags of bows at Walmart or Kmart, or back then I think it was Kmart. And by the time you would buy the bows, they were smashed. They weren't pretty bows anymore. But because you're making your own bows, they're not smashed. So no more smashed bows, because you're making your own, and you can make them to match any color. Look at how it looks beautiful even on the back. They look beautiful on the back and on the front. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day. I will link, if I can find these, I will link them in the description box below. And I will link this tool in the description box below, because I think that this is I'm a tools girl. And I think this is a must-have for someone who has many hobbies. I have many hobbies. It's not just paper crafting. I have other hobbies that I could use this tool for. So if you have multiple hobbies, this would definitely, you could use it throughout whatever it is that you're creating if you're needing to punch a hole. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a great day, and God bless. Bye.